I've coached for the past 8 years, men and women from all walks of life, and the number one question that I get asked is this: how do I get rid of my belly fat, or my cheek fat, or my arm fat, or my love handles? And 99% of people are doing the exact opposite of what actually works. By the end of today, you will understand exactly how your body burns fat, why doing more crunches or arm workouts won't fix those stubborn areas, and what to focus on instead to finally get lean. What we're gonna break down is step by step why most people struggle to lose fat, the science behind how fat loss actually works, the truth about your metabolism and calories, and we're also gonna talk about how to build a plan that actually works for you. This is why most people struggle. Most people aren't lazy, they're just misinformed. And so a common reason people struggle is this: they believe social media myths about targeted fat loss, and this isn't your fault. Every time you scroll through your phone or you open up Instagram, someone's gonna tell you this is the best fat burning exercise. Lose fat in 30 days. And you hear these bold claims, but a lot of them are not true. Doing random fat burning workouts instead of structured training, eating healthy foods, but not understanding calorie balance, giving up too early because you have unmet expectations. All of these things are not necessarily your fault, but now they are your responsibility. You've been taught the wrong thing. Every time you go to the grocery store, you look at a magazine and on the cover, it's like, this celebrity you know lost 30 pounds in 15 days. Or it's like, do this in the next 7 days and you'll shrink your visceral fat. Whatever the thing is, your brain is programmed to think that that's what it takes to lose fat. So now you're trying to get rid of cheek fat, you're trying to get rid of arm fat, you're trying to get rid of belly fat. So you use these tactics and these methods that don't really prove true. And so what I want to do today is show you the things that actually work, that are going to give you the best return on the time you spend to get rid of them. You might be working hard, but if you're focused on the wrong levers, that's why you're not seeing the changes you want. So today I want to show you how to finally pull the right levers so you can see the results you want. Now, in order to really lose cheek fat or arm fat or back fat or whatever fat you have on your body, you have to truly understand the science behind fat loss. And in order to understand the science, we have to break myths. And so the first myth that you have to break and not believe anymore is that spot reduction works. So what spot reduction is this idea that you can burn fat in one specific area by training that area. So this is actually something I used to believe. I used to believe that I could spot reduce my stomach fat. So what I would do is many ab challenges as I could find on YouTube. I would search YouTube, find a 21-day ab challenge, run it, work it super hard. My abs were always burning, so sore, but then after the 21 days, my stomach looked the exact same. You see it all the time. Do crunches to lose belly fat. Do tricep kickbacks to tone your arms, or do this thigh workout to burn the fat in your inner thighs. But the reality is you cannot target any fat cell. Your body pulls stored fat for energy systematically, not locally. So when it's time for your body to pull stored energy, it's not gonna pull it from your stomach because you imagined it's going to, or it's not gonna pull it from your legs because you're doing some leg work out there. You can't choose where your body takes energy from. It's the same idea like your body is withdrawing money from your entire bank account, not just one pocket. And so what you're doing, you're trying to pull money out of the right pocket, but your bank account's pulling money from everywhere in your bank account. It's not gonna take specific dollars, it's gonna take a couple of dollars. Where you lose fat first and last is not based on where you want to lose fat first and last. So here's what typically happens for most people. You most of the time gain fat in the areas you don't want fat, so your cheeks, your stomach, your back, your thighs, and then you lose fat in areas that you do want it. And so what you'll notice is even if you do start to lose weight or start to see changes and results in your body, most of the time you don't see it first in the area you want it to lose. Some people lose it from their face and arms first. Others lose it from their midsection or thighs, lucky them. But the reality is losing fat is different for every person because every person's body is different. The second myth you have to stop believing is this myth about the fat burning zone. Now there's this super common trend right now going around on Instagram and TikTok, and you might have seen it before. So it's this trend on Instagram where people will post a video and it says this: what you think burns fat. And what people think burns fat is them running. So it's a video of them running, and then the video switches to them walking on an incline treadmill. Then they'll put on the screen what actually burns fat. And the reality is when you exercise, your body can use two things for energy: carbs or fat? So here's where the misconception comes into play. And the worst part about these videos is no one ever talks or explains it. It's just some short 6-second video. Someone's running on a treadmill, what you think burns fat, and then someone walking on an incline treadmill, what actually burns fat. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Or how does it work? No one ever explains it. And so the one your body uses, whether it's carbs or fats, all depends on your heart rate. So think about it this way. When your heart rate is high, so when you're doing some type of high intensity exercise, you burn carbs as fuel. But when your heart rate is low, think incline walking, that's why they use that analogy, you burn fat for fuel. So running equals high heart rate, or HIIT class, or jump roping, or whatever you do to get your heart rate super high, you burn carbs. Incline walking, low heart rate, you burn fat. So the misconception here is people think because I'm burning fat for energy, I'm losing fat. But there's a difference between burning fat for energy and actually losing fat. Because even if your body is burning fat for energy, if you're still not in a calorie deficit, you will not lose any stored body fat. And also that treadmill setting, when you go on the treadmill that's labeled fat burning zone, misleading. You burn a higher percentage of fat at lower intensities, but fewer total calories overall. And so it's not true that incline walking is gonna burn more stored fat than running will. In reality, running is, because running burns more calories, but both are effective. The key isn't what type of fuel you're burning during exercise, it's total calories burned over time. Now, this is how fat is actually burned. That's what the science actually shows. Fat is stored in adipose tissue as triglycerides. So when your body needs energy, when you're exercising, hormones will break down the triglycerides, the fat. The fat is then oxidized or burned for energy. That's what burning fat really means. Your body is just converting stored energy, aka stored fat, into usable energy. And that's where this concept comes into play. Now, what really happens when you're exercising and you feel the burn? So like I said, I fell into this trap years ago where I thought if I did specific ab circuits and ab exercises to target the lower belly, because that was the most stubborn area of my body, was the lower midsection, that I would be able to burn fat in that area. And the thing is, your brain tricks you, because when you exercise, you do feel the burn. And so practically you're like, okay, my muscles are burning, this area is burning, so that means fat is burning. But that's actually not what's happening. That burning sensation you feel during workouts, it's not fat leaving your body. It's your muscles running out of oxygen. So it's caused by the buildup of hydrogen ions and lactic acid as your body switches from aerobic, oxygen, to anaerobic energy production. That burn means your muscles are being challenged. That's it. Doesn't mean that fat is leaving in that moment. It just means your muscles are being challenged, which is great for growth, but it's not fat melting off. So you have to understand this. So you build muscle when you are in the gym, but you lose fat in the kitchen when you're not in the gym. So it's really important that you don't confuse muscle fatigue with fat loss. Fat loss happens when you burn more calories than you eat, not when your abs are on fire, or not when your booty is on fire, or not when your thighs are on fire. It being on fire is a good thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing fat in that moment. Now, how does your body actually burn calories? So if exercise doesn't directly burn fat, what does? Let's talk about your total daily energy expenditures, or your TDEE. So TDEE, this is the main principle I use in my program to help people with fat loss. It's understanding your total daily, so 24 hours, calories burned in a full day. A lot of people are so focused on how many calories I'm burning when I'm in the gym, but the reality is your body burns a lot more calories outside of the gym than it does inside of the gym. So there's only 4 ways that your body really burns calories. The first one and the biggest category is your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, your metabolism. This accounts for 50 to 70% of your total calories burned. This is just the calories you burn at rest. So if you were just to lay in a bed all day long, just to stay alive, breathing, heartbeat, organ function, that's what that is. That's a lot. The second one is your non-exercise activity. So NEAT. 15 to 25% of this. And so this is you doing the dishes, this is you walking up the stairs, this is you taking the kids to school, this is you going to get groceries, this is you working. So any type of movement when you are not in the gym or not directly exercising. I do believe that NEAT, non-exercise activity, is the most underrated fat loss tool because the more you move, the more you burn. The next one is EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis, which this means direct exercise. This is your workout. And what's crazy about this is you notice how small of a percentage it is. 5 to 10% of your total calories burned in a day are from exercise. Very minimal. The next one is TEF, thermic effect of food. This accounts for about 10% again of your total calories burned. So just by you digesting food. You burn calories. And this is why a lot of people will talk about, oh, eat a high protein diet, because when you eat a high protein diet, your TEF, your thermic effect of food, actually increases. So your body burns calories digesting food, especially protein. So what you'll find is even if you keep your calories the same, but you eat a diet that is higher in protein, you have higher calorie burn potential because now your body is working harder to break down the food. That's also why when you eat a diet that is higher in protein, you feel fuller because your body's working harder to break down the food. So it's like, hold up, we don't need more food for a few hours because we're still breaking down the chicken breast that you just ate. So the key here is if you want to really burn calories and burn fat, if you want to lose fat, don't just focus on your 1 hour workout because that only accounts for 5 to 10% of total calories burned in a day. You have to really focus on what happens during the other 23 hours. And this is what I really focus on in my program. So if you want more info, you want to build a system around the full 24 hours of your day, just make sure you hit the link in the description and I'll reach out directly to you to see how I can best help. Once you understand TDEE, now you understand you can't just trick your metabolism. You can only work with it. Fat loss equals a calorie deficit, period. That means you burn more calories than you eat in 24 hours. So how do we create a bigger calorie deficit so we can lose the cheek fat or the belly fat or the thigh fat or the back fat? The best way is to increase calories burnt. So yeah, I move more, I strength train. The next way is I decrease calories consumed. I eat slightly less calories than I'm eating right now. There's no secret fat burning exercise. So even though you're exercising and burning calories, it doesn't mean that this fat burning exercise you saw on YouTube or you saw on Instagram is going to be better than a normal traditional compound exercise. The only true fat burning exercises, if you wanted to label one, is fork put downs and plate push-aways. The only way you can burn more fat is by consuming less calories and burning more calories. Now people are like, I thought when I do this ab exercise, I'm burning fat. No, you're not. The best way is to increase your calorie deficit. So that's why I like to say when people ask me this question, focus on your plate push-aways. Focus on eating less. Focus on your fork put-downs. That's gonna be the fat-burning exercise. That's a secret for you. Now, how do I put this into practice? The way you put this into practice is first you gotta calculate what your maintenance calories are. All this means is how many calories I have to consume to maintain my weight. Once I figure out my maintenance calories, I start with a 300 to 500 calorie deficit. So below that, so let's say right now your maintenance calories are 2,500 calories. Cool. That means you're gonna eat about 2,000 calories to drop body fat. Now you're gonna focus on a higher protein diet. So think about anywhere from 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. And again, the reason why this is important is not just so you could build muscle to increase your BMR, your metabolism, but also so you could increase your TEF, your thermic effect of food, the amount of calories your body burns by just digesting. When it comes to exercise, you're not gonna focus on fat burning workouts or HIIT classes or how many calories can I burn during this exercise. You're just gonna focus on getting stronger. Lifting weights, focusing on compound exercises, following a structured plan 3 to 5 times a week. This literally can be 3 workouts for 45 minutes. I don't care. You will still be able to see great results just with that. Or it could be up to 5 workouts per week. Once I do that, I want to focus on increasing my NEAT, my non-exercise activity. Now, here's why this is important, because let's say you're working out 4 times a week, 1 hour per workout. You're killing it in the gym. But when you add up 4 hours of exercise for 1 whole week, I don't know how many hours there are in a week, but that is very minimal. So if I'm not focused on movement outside of the gym, now this is worst case scenario, you work out 4 days a week and you work a very demanding desk job, you're sitting 10 to 12 hours per day. You're sitting there doing nothing, burning very minimal calories, and you're wondering, why can't I lose body fat? That's why, because you're not moving outside of the gym. The only time you move is when you go and work out. So non-exercise activity is extremely important and extremely underutilized. So start with 8,000 steps, start with 7,000 steps, just start with more, and then you work your way up to 10,000. I have clients that literally are doing 12,000 steps a day, 13,000 steps a day, and they're just completely shredding body fat. Now, once I have an actionable plan, I gotta understand, hey, my progress and my results will look differently than someone else's. Something most people never talk about is you don't get to choose where your body loses fat first. I know all of us would love if we could just wave a magic wand and every time I exercise, my body only focuses on losing fat in the midsection, but the body don't work that way. I'm sorry, I wish it did. Some people's faces lean out first, others keep belly fat until the very end. So you might even notice you lose 10 pounds, you lose 15 pounds, but the stomach looks the exact same. Does this mean you need to change anything? No, it doesn't. It just means you gotta keep going. So if you're seeing changes everywhere on your body except that one area you wanna get rid of, like your face or your stomach, don't change your program, just keep going, because oftentimes that's the last thing that's gonna change. Focus on consistency, not speed. It's like that picture where the guy is hacking away at the mountain and he's trying to dig a hole and he's been doing it for a long time and he quits right at the very end. And all he needed was a couple more hacks and he would have broken through the mountain. But he couldn't see the other side because he quit too soon. So the biggest enemy to your success isn't the belly fat, it's you quitting too early. Fat loss is just like peeling an onion. It's just like taking one piece of toilet paper off of the toilet paper. You don't notice it right at first, but over the long haul, you absolutely will. So you cannot spot reduce fat. I don't care what your favorite influencer tells you on Instagram or TikTok. No exercise will do that. The burn you feel during exercise isn't fat loss, it's muscle fatigue. It's a good thing, but it doesn't mean fat is leaving in that moment. Your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditures, is the engine behind fat loss, and you have to maximize that as much as possible. The only way to lose fat is through a calorie deficit, and everyone loses fat differently. So stay consistent and stay patient. So if you're ready to stop guessing and actually get results, what I want you to do is click the application for coaching and the link below. And then what I'll do is I'll reach out directly to you to see how I can best help.